Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to be working with Google Apps. Google Apps is sort of the backbone of our office communications. It's a great system because it allows us to work over all sorts of different devices. Obviously, Google is great for compatibility even with Apple products, and does a great job with security, which is something we've discussed in the WISP video in training. So Google Apps is our first, kind of central to our business and communication, sharing documents, and obviously powers our email address. So to get started, we're going to start off with Gmail or Google Mail. Gmail, so everyone has set up an account by now. You should have your own login at gmail.com. As we've discussed by now, you should realize that is your login. While it is a functional email, your name at blpre.com is actually your to and from email address. And as part of setting this up, we're going to show you how that works, as well as how to edit your signature and organize your data in your email account. So Gmail is an email service provided by Google. Obviously, it'll help you significantly throughout your work process. As we said, you should have already set up your Gmail account. So at this point, I'm going to show you settings. Yeah, you should be logged in as I am to my account. We'll click on our settings here. Click on settings again. Settings is going to bring up the main sort of settings menu. What you'll notice here is you have a general tab, labels tab, inbox, accounts and imports, and so on. Primarily what we utilize on this is the general tab, the labels tab, and the inbox tab. We'll start off with your signature, which is the general tab. If we scroll down a little bit, you'll see we have our signature line, right? There's all sorts of other settings you can work through, but we'll go down to our signature line. Everybody should have a signature. At the very least, your signature should have your name and Boston's Luxury Properties. So here's my name, here's Boston's Luxury Properties. You can put your position in there, which I think is great. A lot of people use leasing and sales agent. I like to list my involvement in the community, especially the Realtors organization. When I was more active with the Fenway CDC, that was part of my signature. But this is your opportunity to market yourself. And that's something we kind of lose sight of when we're talking about signatures too often. This is a great place to market yourself, and you want to include a little bit of a bio about you. I've seen a lot of great uses for signatures, but one of the things that I've noticed a lot more common is adding in pictures. So I don't have one in mind, and I'd like to change that today. So we're going to go in and we're going to add the logo. Adding a picture is pretty easy. You click the insert image button. We can choose it from our Google Drive right here, My Drive. Everybody has the BLP Office Share already linked to them. And if we scroll down, there it is. So we have a large version and a smaller version. The smaller version is smaller. It'll obviously load quicker. Large version is not too bad. I figured I'll try that, see how that looks out. We can see it's fairly large. I can actually select the size I want to use. So here I want to use a large, something like that. So that's kind of neat. Next thing I could do with this is I can actually link it to something. So in this case, I'm going to start using Real Scout. We've all started using Real Scout. I'd like to link it to my Real Scout page. So in my case, I'm going to get the link here. Here's my Real Scout page. So we can copy the link. So everyone know how to do that. So I highlighted it. I right-clicked in the blue area, click the copy button. The other option, you can highlight it and hit Control plus the C button at the same time and let go, and that will copy that. Then we can click back into our email. If we scroll up a little bit and click on link, we can now change the link. Here you go. So this popped up. I'll do that one more time in case anyone missed it. I'm going to highlight the image and click the link button. Make sure that picture's highlighted. Click that link button. It should be depressed like it is now. Now you can edit that link, change. This is the web address we want it to go to. There you go. Okay, so now if you just click on the picture, you can see that goes to my Real Scout page. So if you don't have a Real Scout page set up, you can obviously click back to the website. We can also click back to our You Got Listings hot list and grab that link. Creating that You Got Listings hot list is something that's covered in the You Got Listings module. So you can review that to learn how to create that and just copy and paste that link into your signature. And that might be a great place to have your hot list. Do some YouTube videos. Look and see what other people are doing to make the most of their signature. There's a lot of opportunity here. And the more we use it, the better off we are in terms of getting marketing and referrals and repeat business. I'll give you one other example that I really liked recently is you can create links to your feedback and reviews and even do screen grabs of your ratings from Realtor.com or Zillow or Yelp. So you can see, people can see right on your signature you're a trusted agent to work with. So as you begin to build up your referral and reviews online, this is a great place to showcase them. Goes out with every email you send through Gmail. This is a great thing to have. So that's done. I want to click Save Changes to make sure that that's been set. Now, next thing I want to do, I need to go back into settings. I want to verify that my address has been, or that my signature has been updated. You know, one other thing I didn't mention before, but always important to do, make sure you're editing the correct email address. So if you were editing Jason in my Gmail email address, you can see it's a smaller email. I don't really send much from this account. In fact, I've got my default settings to always send from my blpre.com account. So we want to make sure that that's been set, right? All right, so we talked before about how we use our accounts, or how we set this up so that BLPRE is where your emails are always coming from. So you can see under accounts and imports, we've already added your blpre.com as an email address. We've made it the default. You want to make sure you mark it as the default. And when replying to a message, we always reply from the default address. So even if someone emails us somehow through the Gmail account, I'm always responding to them with the blpre.com account. So that's number one. We've set up our signature, and that's really crucial. We've made sure we've got ourselves always sending as blpre.com. And under accounts and imports, when replying, make sure you're always sending the default email address. We've set this as the default email address right here. So the next thing we want to talk about is labels. We'll click on the labels button. You can see this is one way to add labels. I've got lots and lots and lots of labels. I love organizing my emails. It allows me to be so much more efficient. You can see I have created probably 100 plus labels to put things into. My volunteer work's in here, all the emails from agents, past and present, listings announcements, buyer and seller clients that I wanted to kind of organize communications with outside of Prospect Converter. There's 10 years worth of information here and all organized for pretty easy finding. But so you definitely want to make the most of this. This is how you can create some, but really what we want to be able to do is on the fly add people to labels. So I'm going to click on inbox so I can see my emails. I need to organize some things in my email. So you can see, even though it's a little after 12 today, I've already organized and deleted all my emails that had already been resolved or didn't require further attention. I look at my email account as almost a to-do list. I delete things that are not relevant. I organize things once they're completed, if there's something I need to hold on to. I'll give you an example. I'm working with someone right now, Ming. I want to make sure I keep this communication with him, so I'm going to move this to an email with Ming. It's regarding a property we discussed, 67 Park Drive, number 1. So there it is. I had already set that account up. I'm going to undo this and just show you how easy it is to create it. Let's say I wanted to create a label. Let's call it Ming Sprinklers. Quite simply, I type that in as the new label. I can click Create New. I can either keep it as a main label, or I could nest it or have it as a label underneath another label. I can sort of group labels. For example, if I had listing sheets and then all the different landlords I'm collecting listing sheets from, I could have listing sheets as the main label and Hamilton Company, Feinberg, Raymond Realty, Ashcan, whoever else as the different listing sheets, or different landlords, each with their own subdirectory or sub-label. So I could nest that label under Ming, who I've already set up. Create. If we click under my labels here and I find Ming, Obviously, with so many labels, sometimes it takes just a minute. Surprisingly, he's inactive, but Ming. So here he is, Ming Sprinklers. Boom, there it is. There's that email save, so I can always get access to it, but not something I need to continue to respond to and organized out. So if I go back to my inbox, I'm down to just 5 or so, well, a few new emails came in, but I'm just down to a handful of emails. Really important to keep this inbox cleaned out. If it's not relevant or it's not something you need to follow up on, get it labeled or get it deleted. Move it from the inbox or delete it, because if you let this back up, you're going to lose track of important emails as they come in. You can see I actually only have about 25 unanswered emails. About 20 of those, I don't even know where they are, from 4, 5, 6 years ago. Everything gets looked at for me, so I know if I've got a new email, it needs to be looked at, and everything gets organized. Just can't get away from how critical it is to keep things organized. One thing that's great is you can always search. I clicked on the top white label area. I can always search. So, for example, I can search for Ming, and you can see here's the signature, but I can also search by label. So I can do label : Ming. There's labels with Ming in them. So if I click boom, there's everything with Ming in it. I could do that's a great feature if you're trying to organize things. I'll give you another example. I like to use labels, especially for transactions. So if I'm working with a buyer, I want to keep track of all the emails that have gone back and forth. I want to protect myself in case they say I said something and I say I didn't say something. I want to be able to go to make sure that I have evidence I didn't say that. I keep every email for every transaction. You're expected to do that. So organize those. Let me go back to the inbox. Here's an example. I've got a project I'm working with. We want to keep track of all our communications on that property. Click on that. It's labeled Personal LEJ LLC. Everything that comes in under that person, I'm moving to Personal LEJ LLC. Even though it's in the inbox, you can see it's already got that label attached to it. Same here, it's in the inbox, but it's already got that label attached to it. I can click on both of these and archive them. This first little down arrow folder looking icon, that's going to move them to their respective folders and get them out of the inbox. So now again, I'm down to 3 unread emails. That's the way I like to see things. I don't like to, don't want to let things pile on. Since I haven't actually responded to those, I want to move them back. If I accidentally do something, I always click that undo button. And now they're back, so I can kind of clean up that work before I move them on. Get familiar with labels. Make the most of those. Like I said before, we hit on before, if you click on settings, click on labels, you want to organize or sort labels, you can go through them here. It will make your life a lot easier as you move through projects. Prospect Converter is great at keeping track of communication with people, but your email is also a great place. You want to be able to use them together.